Hello, I've decided to do some small feature highlights of my Maya tools just over the holidays since I've been playing around with a few kind of fun things. First one is I've been looking at modeling and modeling tools and how I want to work with models both within animations and on their own. And for a while I had a tool that was just for animation that would let me combine different models onto my skeleton, so I could swap models during in an animation file and just have them play out. But that was destructive to the actual models itself. So I've fixed all that up. The basic functionality is all through the content browser of my tools. There's this import and combine. So you have multiple FBXs selected. You can import and combine. We get one consolidated mesh of all the models. You gotta go to the legs, grab the lower legs and the pants. If I have an actual animation character in the scene, it'll automatically find it and apply it. Or if I have the rigger open, it will use the one that's selected in the rigger. Otherwise, I have to tell it that I don't want to import this, combine this as a new model. I want you to use the existing skeleton and the existing model. That's just a selection. So I've got all my models here. Now I can look at everything in conjunction with each other, all as a single object. And this makes the scene a little easier rather than having 4 different models and 4 different skeletons and all of that. I could come in here, pull out the pants, and using my property editor, it likes to disappear if I grab it too fast. I grab the property editor, find the pantaloons. In the property editor, I added this run property. This will just run whatever functionality is attached to that property. In the case of a partial model property, it actually runs an export. Not only runs an export, but it ties everything into my actual exporter. So since it ran, it set up the exporter and then used the exporter to actually export just the pants. So now if I go back, and we load just the pantaloons on their own. Here we got the modified model all pulled in, looking great. Extra kind of fun feature with this is how I built it to tie into the animation systems. I like everything to work pretty just straight as is. I'm going to go to the 180 turn. So I've got a character here. Just make it mesh selectable. One thing I do need to do is make a nice little UI that actually lets me combine characters and manage the actual character meshes. So the functionality is all here, but the usability is having to select the mesh and all that is not great to be able to view this information. Let's say I want to swap out all the clothes of this character. I can go here, just hit delete. It pops out all the models. This is again just a single combined mesh. But now I don't have to have any selected because I have a character loaded and my tools can find the character and find the combined mesh and the skeleton and do all that work for me. So I could do... I'm going to go back and use my search. Actually, I already had these selected, so now I really just need lower legs. And then import and combine. And this is going to import everything, detach the skeleton from the rig, set everything into the correct place to rebind these meshes to the skeleton, then reattach the skeleton into the rigging system. And then we've got our lovely work all rolled in, all updated from the previous models. I am grabbing checksums whenever I load this stuff, so when I do have a tool that's actually meant for managing this, I'll be able to check and verify whether or not we're using the correct mesh, or if there's been an update since. And then everything I showed still works from an animation scene. Like, you know what, I actually really like this bulge. Notice that latest my is not great at actually updating visually what you're doing. We could also go ahead and change some skin weighting. This is something that I really like about this, is I'll be able to combine a bunch of models, see how they're working together, see if they're clipping, see if the skin weighting is working together in context of an animation. You notice the pants popped out like that again? That's actually just a weird display bug, I believe. If I go back. Maybe not. Yeah, there's back. So I've had this display bug, I haven't figured out exactly what's causing it. With a skin mesh, when you start modifying vertices, it doesn't maintain that information very well. So we've shrunk that in. Let's go ahead and say, let's crank this up, make it obvious. So do some bad skin weighting. Then you've got the pantaloons, so just run an export. Again, this is all from the animation scene. It's doing everything behind the scenes to make sure that it's all clean on this export. Everything gets re-zeroed out and yeah, set up for a proper clean export. Now we just grab the pantaloons again. Let's take a look. Skin weighting is preserved. Mesh changed. Pushing those verts back in are preserved. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's really just a modeling tool that lets me view any models on any skeleton or any character in combination and be able to quickly apply them in animation and then work on them from any animation. So if I have an animation that's particularly causing a particular problem, I don't have to go through any process of like loading up a character and applying the animation to it. I can just throw those meshes onto that animation, do my cleanup, export it, and call it good. One other thing I use this for is if I'm building NPCs. So if I have this consolidated models, I want to consolidate down to an individual character. I can just grab a bunch of models, pull them together. All these models actually have some data in them about how I modify their UVs. It's collapsed as attributes on the object right now. Undershirt. I've got some UV scaling that I'll do to push the textures, or push the textures and combine them as a single material. So I can just come in here, run and combine on any set of meshes, and they'll have all their unwraps adjusted for combined textures. So like all my skins, instead of being split between upper and lower body, will be on a single texture sheet. All the clothing will be, instead of being split between upper and lower body pieces, will be on a single texture sheet with the upper body in the upper half, lower body in the lower half. And we can make any kind of additional adjustments as we need with the property system and being able to collapse and run that. But yeah, that's what I got to show today. I'll be going into mocap tools after this because I've been doing a lot of fun stuff there and processing mocap data and automating mocap transfer setup to characters in my system.